And Al Sharpton's National Action Network and community organizing group ACORN want the removal of Maricopa County Sheriff Joe Arpaio. He's been enforcing immigration law under authority granted to local officials by a federal program known as 287G. But Sharpton says he's gone too far.
Anyone of color is being pulled over and harassed. People are being made to carry their citizenship papers around, and that's racial profiling.
Arpaio says he's a political scapegoat for those who don't want to enforce the law.
We are not racist. We're doing our job. That's how low these people are.
Arpaio has been doing his reign of terror for a very long time.
Did you just say reign of terror?
Absolutely,
okay.
And I mean that. And it's been arresting people simply because of the color of their skin or their language.
Professor Kobach, I'd also like to ask you another question. I know you've been very successful on litigation across the country dealing with these particular types of issues. As we obviously we detest the concept of racial profiling, but how do you balance the issues of trying to provide for border security, items of national security that we have? Is this something, if we take, obviously, you're saying that that ICE is not properly, there's not enough agents that can handle this problem on their own. Am I correct in that?
I think that's a fair statement. We always need more ICE officers.
Right. So 287, in order to deal with this issue of concern of some reported incidents of racial profiling, doing away with 287G, would that be the solution to that?
Not at all. And I'm glad you asked that question, because one of the witnesses on the previous panel mentioned some jurisdictions that there were reports of incidents, not formal findings, but just reports of racial profiling, and the jurisdictions weren't even Section 287G jurisdiction. So to assume causality, to assume that a 287G agreement somehow causes or facilitates racial profiling is simply illogical. And I would note furthermore that the officers who have received 287G training have received twice as much training against racial profiling as any other officer in federal state law enforcement. They received their own state-level training against racial profiling, which every state gives, and they've received ICE training against racial profiling. Most federal officers have only received one set of classes, so they are actually very well trained. And I would finally note that throughout the entire testimony of every other witness that we have heard today, there have been reports, anecdotes, but there has not been one internal affairs investigation that has ever found any racial profiling by a 287G officer. There's not been one court that has ever found any truth in any report of any racial profiling incident. We are a country of the rule of law, and we do not punish people based on mere allegation or mere anonymous report. We are a country where we have inquiries done under rules of law, and under such inquiries there has never been any finding of any racial profiling associated with 287G.
The men and women of this office are sick and tired, absolutely sick and tired of picking up a paper, watching the news, and being accused of racial profiling. We do not racial profile. We've never racial profiled, and we never will racial profile. And accusing us of racial profile amounts to calling us racists. We are not racists. We go out here every day, put our lives on the line, and enforce the law. That's our job, enforce the law.
And he blames immigrants of any color and any stripe. It's racial profiling. It's not good.
Any insinuation of racial profiling against any deputy sheriff of this office, I take that personally as an insult.
So, right here, this man said, oh, I don't mind if people call me KKK. That's offensive. He should have resigned right then and there. We don't need a public servant saying he's proud to be part of the Ku Klux Klan.
No, that's not.
He's racially
Bertha,
profiling.
You know better than what you're saying, and you should say you're sorry to God.
No.
It's extremely frustrating and actually extremely... It's very offensive. It's very offensive to me, to my family, to my friends.